This is the Bagley Flyers News with your hosts, Remy Skuse with the lunch menu, Livy Tigey with the positive action word of the week, Ruby Schnellbach with Journey Through America, Ari Bushy with the Literacy Zone and our camera person, Carter Deardahl with sports, Gavin Wagner with sports, Jesse Durkin with the Orbit Report, Elsie Larson with announcements and the Critter Corner.
Lunch menu for this week is on Monday. There's no school, so I hope you made yourself a great lunch. On Tuesday, sub sandwich, baked lays, fresh veggies, and fruit cocktail. On Wednesday, chicken and gravy, mashed potatoes, pears, and whole grain bread. On Thursday, chicken on a bun, mac and cheese, and mandarin oranges. On Friday, garlic cheesy bread, marinara sauce, green beans, and applesauce. Bon appetit.
Here's this week's Journey Through America. This week we visit South Carolina, the Palmetto State. It's called the Palmetto State because logs from palmetto trees were used to build a fort on Sullivan's Island that successfully absorbed British cannonballs, proving crucial to an early American victory during the Revolutionary War in 1776. South Carolina's state capital is Columbia. South Carolina became the 8th U.S. state in 1788. It is the 24th largest state geographically. Its population is over 5.4 million, which ranks 23rd in the U.S. for number of people. I send it over to Livy to tell you about the Palmetto State.
Thanks, Ruby. From fishing, boating, and hiking to charming small towns and historic sites, there's something for everyone to enjoy. A blend of heritage and innovation, nature, nightlife, flavor, and flair. From the Blue Ridge Tooth Hills to the breezy low country, our rich cultural heritage, abundant wildlife, and our majestic beaches and mountains make South Carolina a destination like no other. Back to you, Ruby.
Thanks, Livy. Well, we don't have a South Carolina tourism guide yet. One is on the way. You can also find out more about South Carolina by navigating to discoversouthcarolina.com. If you visited some cool places and would like to add your picture to the wall in the library, you could either bring in a picture or have your parents email your pictures to Mr. Reynolds to his email listed below. We'll hope you'll join us on our journey through America. See you for our next adventure.
In our literacy zone, we are learning about earth science. Throughout this unit, you will explore how water cycles through clouds and rivers, but access is not the same everywhere. You will discover how climate shapes homes, clothing, food, and daily routines. Finally, earth science is not just scenery. It shapes culture like a sculptor shapes. Clay and mountains, plains, valleys, and coastlines influence how people live. If you're looking for book ideas about earth science, you can ask Miss Hansi for help. Remember, reading is like a superpower. It helps your brain get stronger and lets your imagination grow.
This week's positive action word of the week is integrity. Integrity is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles to do what is right. You know, someone has strong integrity if they show thanks for others, value honesty, take responsibility and accountability for their actions, respect themselves and others, help others in need, are reliable, trustworthy, and can show patience and flexibility. For example, if you buy something at the store and you get too much money back, you need to tell the cashier. Or if you put something in your cart, but you accidentally left the store without paying for it, you would have to go back and buy it. These are examples of showing integrity, and it's important to act this way even when people aren't watching. That is the positive action word of the week, integrity.
I'm Carter.
And I'm Gavin. And
here's what's happening in sports this week.
In professional sports this week, the Timberwolves play the Houston Rockets and Detroit Pistons. The Wild play the Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers, and Boston Bruins. The Frost, Minnesota's women's pro hockey team, plays the Montreal Victoires and Boston Fleet. In Home Team Heroes, we spotlight famous athletes from the state we are studying. This week, we spotlight NFL wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. He was born in Clemson in 1992, where he also played college football from 2010 through 2012. Hopkins was drafted as the 27th pick in the first round by the Houston Texans in 2013. He has also played for the Arizona Cardinals, Tennessee Titans, Kansas City Chiefs, and Baltimore Ravens. Hopkins is a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, and 2-time second-team All-Pro. Please check the athletics calendar on the school's website for your favorite social media platform to stay on schedule with dates, times, and opponents for upcoming Flyers activities. That's our sports wrap-up. Now go make your own highlights.
It's time for the Orbit Report, where we give you fun facts about planets and what to look for in phases of the moon. This week we are going to share some fun facts about meteors. Meteors are pieces of rock or metal that come from space and burn up when they enter the Earth's atmosphere. The air creates friction, which causes the meteor to heat up and burn, making it glow brightly as it zooms through the sky. If a meteor makes it through the atmosphere and lands on Earth, it's called a meteorite. Meteor showers are when lots of meteors enter the Earth's atmosphere at the same time, making it look like a sky is full of shooting stars. And famous meteor showers happen every year. The biggest meteorite ever found on Earth weighs a whopping 66 tons, or about as much as 10 elephants. When you see a shooting star, you're actually seeing a meteor streaking through the sky. Last week, a 7-ton meteor was seen streaking through the sky all over America. For the moon phase this week, it will be in a waxing crescent phase. It is the first phase after the new moon. The moon's illumination is growing larger each day as it moves away from the sun. The moon has an illumination of 27% and is currently 5 days into its 29-day cycle. That's this week's trip around the Orbit Report. Until next time, shine on.
Here are this week's announcements. Don't forget to keep collecting those pop tabs for the Ronald McDonald House. Bring your pop tabs to Mrs. Lucker's 5th grade classroom. The grade that collects most pop tabs will earn a prize. There is only a month left because collecting ends on April 30th. You have been reading the One School, One Book, The Mouse and the Motorcycle by Beverly Cleary for 3 weeks now. Here is Mrs. Larson with some background knowledge about the book.
Hello, Bagley Elementary. We are clipping along through our book, The Mouse and the Motorcycle. I really hope you've been enjoying this genre of story. Genre? What is a genre? Well, a genre is a specific type of story, book, movie, or music that shares similar features or style. It kind of acts like a label that helps tell us as readers and viewers and listeners what to expect, and then we kind of decide if we enjoy it or we don't enjoy it. So what genre is The Mouse and the Motorcycle? Well, it's a fantasy. A fantasy is a genre of storytelling that can include things like magic, supernatural powers, or animals that do things that a human would do, like talk, or wear clothes, or drive a motorcycle. There are hundreds of children's books out there that feature mice as main characters, with many of those titles that focus on relationships between mice and humans, just like in our story. So I'm going to give you some examples of other stories that have a similar genre that you might enjoy. The first one is Stuart Little by E.B. White. So Stuart is a little mouse that's born into a human family in New York City. And he goes on exciting adventures, he makes friends, and he searches for his lost bird friend Margallo. Talks to humans as well. Then there's The Tale of Despero by Kate DiCamillo. Despero is a brave mouse who falls in love with a princess, and he must rescue her from the dungeon and learn about forgiveness and love. Then there's Geronimo Stilton, which is actually a series, so several books, we have them in our library, by Elizabeth Dahmy. Geronimo is a mouse journalist and he's an adventurer, and he loves to travel around the world, solving mysteries and having fun with his family and friends. There's also the story called The Rescuers by Marjorie Sharp. This story is about a brave and elegant mouse named Miss Bianca. She's recruited by the Prisoners' Aid Society to rescue this Norwegian poet who is wrongly imprisoned in this dangerous black castle. Along with her fellow mice companions, Bernard and Nils, she has to navigate these perilous encounters to achieve the mission and save this Norwegian poet. There's one of my personal favorite stories called Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim by Robert C. O'Brien. And life for this mouse named Mrs. Frisbee has been really hard ever since her husband died. And her youngest son becomes dangerously ill, and he needs to be moved in order to avoid the farmer's plow that's coming through the field. and she doesn't know what to do. So a wise owl advises her to ask these rats for help. But Mrs. Frisbee, this mouse, is really hesitant because she's like, how could these rats really help her? And lastly, there's another series called The Littles, and that's by John Peterson. And though technically the Littles aren't mice, they're actually a family of tiny people who have mouse-like features. So they have tails. And here's where it's similar to our story. They live in the walls of the Biggs family home, where they interact and talk with these giant humans. And so that's very similar to the story that we're reading, where obviously we've got Ralph talking to Keith. And also Ralph's family live in the walls of the Mountain View Inn. So I thought I would throw that one in there, and that's also in our library. Many of the stories I mentioned are in our library here at the school. So if you've enjoyed the genre of The Mouse and the Motorcycle, you might enjoy some of these other stories that I mentioned because they have a similar genre. And remember, that genre is fantasy. Very interesting. We have many fantasy books in our library. So until next time, happy reading.
The third annual March Book Madness, brought to you by Mrs. Alexander, has crowned a winner. A huge thank you to Mrs. Alexander for hosting and picking some amazing books. Thank you for taking time to watch and vote for your favorite book. Without further ado, the winner of March Book Madness 2026 is Don't Trust Fish. Finally, in our Critter Corner, we are going to look at one of the tiniest rodents, the lemming. A group of lemmings is called a plague, and when their population increases rapidly every few years, they migrate to find new areas to live. Their population gets bigger because female lemmings can have several litters in a year, with up to 10 babies at a time. Lemmings live in the northern parts of North America, Europe, and Asia, and the Arctic tundra. Their fur turns white in the winter to camouflage against predators. Finally, lemmings are herbivores and eat mosses, roots, grasses, and berries, and are closely related to muskrats and hamsters. From our little line of reporters to your big world, have a good week!
Thank you for watching our latest newscast. If you enjoyed our news, please show your support by liking and subscribing. Also, don't forget to hit the notification button so you don't miss any new post.